You wouldn't last a day, not against what was out there. Picture this. You're standing in an open landscape. No walls, no weapons, no fire. Just you, your body, and whatever evolution gave you after 6 million years of primate history. Your top running speed? About 28 kilometers per hour. On a good day, for maybe 200 meters before your lungs give out. The cave lion chasing you runs at 60. Your teeth are flat. Your nails are soft. You have no venom, no armor, no camouflage. Your baby, if you somehow manage to have one, cannot walk for a full year after birth. It can't even hold its own head up. By every biological metric, you are the worst designed large mammal on this planet. And yet, every single predator that shared this world with you, the saber-toothed cat, the cave lion, the short-faced bear, the dire wolf, is gone. You're still here. So what happened? Let's be honest about what you actually were for the first 2 million years of your existence. You were not a hunter. You were prey. There's a site in South Africa called Swartkrans Cave. Archaeologists digging there in the 1980s found hundreds of bones from early hominins, your direct ancestors, with puncture marks on the skulls. Specific puncture marks, spaced exactly right for the lower canines of a leopard. Your ancestors weren't eating in that cave. They were being eaten. CK Brain's analysis of those bones, published in 1981, confirmed what the evidence had been suggesting for decades. Early humans spent a significant portion of their evolutionary history as a regular item on someone else's menu. And it wasn't just leopards. Cave lions were larger than modern African lions and hunted in groups. Short-faced bears stood 3.5 meters tall on their hind legs, nearly twice the height of a grizzly, and were fast enough to run down horses. Saber-toothed cats like Smilodon had canines 28 centimeters long, designed not to bite through bone, but to slice through the thick skin of megafauna. You were not megafauna. You were snack-sized. So here's the question you should be asking right now. If this was your starting position, small, soft, slow, and constantly being hunted, what changed? The first thing that changed was fire, but not in the way most people think. Most narratives about fire focus on cooking, how heat broke down proteins, increased caloric availability, and gave our brains the fuel to grow. That's true, but it misses something more immediate. Fire created a circle. Research from Wonderwer Cave in South Africa, published in PNAS in 2012 by Francesco Berna and his team, found evidence of controlled fire use dating back approximately 1 million years. Ash layers, burned bone, charred plant material, a hearth. Think about what that circle meant at night. Every predator that hunted your ancestors used one primary advantage: darkness. Cave lions, leopards, saber-toothed cats, they were built for low-light conditions. Eyes designed for night, pupils that dilated wide, bodies that moved silently. Fire didn't just warm you. It canceled their advantage. A 30-foot radius of light in the middle of absolute darkness is not a campfire. It's a perimeter. It's the first wall humans ever built, not out of stone, but out of photons. And inside that perimeter, something else started happening. You talked. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar's research on the evolution of language suggests that human conversation, specifically the kind of social bonding that happens around a fire at night, was one of the primary drivers of our cognitive development. Not hunting strategy, not tool-making, gossip, storytelling. The processing of social relationships at a scale no other primate had ever attempted. Fire didn't just protect you from predators. It gave you 6 extra hours a day to become smarter than them. Now here's the part that changes everything. In 2005, a team led by David Lord Kipenids published findings in Nature about a skull discovered in Manasai, Georgia, dating to approximately 1.8 million years ago. One of the oldest hominin skulls ever found outside Africa. The skull had no teeth. Not lost some teeth. Not a few missing. Every single tooth was gone. And the jaw had been toothless long enough that the bone had fully resorbed, meaning this individual lost their teeth years before they died. 1.8 million years ago. No dental care. No soft food supplements. No protein shakes. In the wild, a toothless predator is a dead predator within weeks. A toothless prey animal lasts about as long. But this individual survived. For years. which means someone fed them. Think about what that requires. It requires a group that recognized this person as worth feeding despite producing nothing. No hunting, no foraging, no direct survival contribution. This is not altruism in the soft, feel-good sense. This is a biological strategy. Because that toothless elder knew things. Where the water sources were when drought came, which plants caused illness, how a particular predator moved. That knowledge, stored in a living brain that a younger group chose to keep alive, was worth more than the calories it cost to feed them. Every other apex predator on this planet operated on a simple principle. If you can't contribute, you're a liability. Your ancestors made the opposite bet, and it paid off. But let's talk about the one physical trick your body actually had. You can't outrun a cheetah. You can't outbite a lion. You can't outclimb a leopard. But you can do something almost no other mammal on this planet can do. You can keep going. Persistence hunting, documented in The Sand People of the Kalahari by Louis Liebenberg in a 2006 paper in Medical Hypotheses, works like this. You find an animal. You chase it. Not fast. You don't need to be fast. You just need to not stop. Most quadrupeds cool their bodies through panting. But panting requires a slowing down or stopping. You can't breathe efficiently for cooling while galloping at full speed. Your body cools differently. You sweat all over while running continuously. On a hot day, over flat terrain, a human can run a kudu, a 200-kilogram antelope, to heat exhaustion over 30 to 40 kilometers. The animal stops, not because it's injured, not because it's been caught, because its body temperature hit critical failure. You just kept running. Ask yourself something. When was the last time you ran until something else gave up? That stubbornness, that refusal to quit encoded in your physiology, is not a metaphor. It's a 2-million-year-old hunting strategy written into your sweat glands, your Achilles tendon length, and the way your skull balances on your spine to keep your head stable while your body moves. You were built for this one thing, and it was enough. Here's where the story gets uncomfortable. When Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa, starting roughly 70,000 years ago, something happened everywhere we went. Things started going extinct. Australia, within a few thousand years of human arrival, 90% of megafauna species were gone. Giant wombats, marsupial lions, a 200-kilogram bird that couldn't fly. The Americas, humans arrived approximately 13,000 years ago. Within 2,000 years, 75% of large mammal genera had disappeared. Woolly mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths the size of elephants, American horses, American camels. Barnosky et al., publishing in Science in 2004, analyzed the correlation between human migration, timing, and megafauna extinction events across 6 continents. The pattern was consistent enough that the researchers could essentially use when did humans arrive here as a predictor for when did the large animals disappear. The predators that survived your ancestors in Africa, the ones that evolved alongside early hominins and learned to be afraid of you, had 2 million years to calibrate their behavior. They knew what you were. The megafauna in Australia and the Americas had never seen a human before. They didn't run. The weakest ape on the planet turned out to be the most dangerous thing those ecosystems had ever encountered. Not because of claws or speed or size. Because of fire, coordination, memory, and a body that would not stop moving until you decided to stop. So let's come back to where we started. You, standing in an open landscape. No walls, no weapons. Except now you know what you actually have. You have a nervous system that can model other minds, predator and prey alike. You have sweat glands that turn endurance into a weapon. You have a social architecture that kept toothless elders alive because their memories were worth more than the cost of feeding them. And you have fire, the ability to cancel darkness itself. The saber-toothed cat was faster. The cave lion was stronger. The short-faced bear was larger. None of them are here. You are. Not because you were the best predator. Because you were the only species that figured out how to make weakness into a system. And somewhere in your DNA, in the sweat response that fires when you push past exhaustion, in the social instinct that makes you uncomfortable when someone is left behind, that system is still running. It never stopped.